Good morning. I am higher vibrations, and so are you. And the technical errors or difficulties are still going on. We all kind of hoped it would stop after Mercury retrograde, but here we are. Man, a lot of crazy energy. A lot of things have been shifting lately. We've been actually noticing this on the planet as well. There's been a lot of planetary. I'm getting closer to this. My camera is down at the bottom of the screen, so I have to kind of position myself. Anyhow, for me, I know that a lot of us are experiencing the same thing, but just a lot to do with appetite, weird headache stuff, like dull, persistent headaches. Pardon me, dull, persistent headaches, where it's like not really that big of a deal. Like it just doesn't go away. I'm noticing it mostly like in either the third eye or like the ocular, but a lot of people are reporting again the headband headache. Often it's one side of the head or the other. And it's really useful to kind of like tune in and like think about what side it is, because the divine feminine is the left side, the divine masculine is the right side. And so there's a lot of communication through energy in our body to help us understand what it is we're going through at this time. A lot of dark night of the soul, and or I would say mostly and mixed together, like end of life review a lot, or it feels like end of life review. It's not actually end of life, but that's the words we use to describe it, because you're finding yourself in the positions, the moments of maybe embarrassment or whatever it was that had occurred in an earlier time in this incarnation, in this lifetime. And all of a sudden you're able to have perspective placed there, where you could see where other people, in the story that may be being misinterpreted as whatever, we do this whole, that person thought this about me or something like that. It's being resolved for you, as these moments come up. A lot of people are noticing it at first and saying that they're like fleeing from it, like they're trying to not experience it, like like pull away, and do whatever it is that you feel aligned to do. Though I found it to be very useful to lean into it, and experience what is it that's being said there. Often it's something just to simply be released, so you don't have to hold on to it any longer, which is hugely useful. The mouth stuff, there's a lot of throat chakra activation stuff. A lot of people, and I don't know if you can see, I have like these sores here from these big giant weird uh pustules. I don't even know what to call them. They were like big blisters, almost. And like it was stuff that just needed to like be released from the throat chakra area. Also, a lot of people are reporting, still the weird stuff with the flavor in the mouth. Usually it's unpleasant. It's not very yummy, you know. And it some people have remarked that others can even detect the aroma of their mouth isn't very pleasant, So there's a lot of that, stuff to. People are reporting like aching or even a headache in their gums. The solution to that is simply, for me, I found warm salt water rinse, and like you just have a couple of swigs of it, and just rinse it for a bit. I'm also being guided to drink some of the salt water, not in huge quantities. Remember, if we drink too much of it, that helps you to vomit, so just as much as, or what's most useful is to put it directly on the tongue. And I'm talking about the kind of salt that we call mineral salt, or pink Himalayan salt, pink salt, Celtic salt. There's a couple of different kinds of salt that people are utilizing. And if you just do your research, I think river salt has like 78 minerals. Our body has 92 and needs to continue to restock the stores that we came in this life as a baby with all the stores we needed, and we've been slowly depleting them. And so we're needing to reestablish, bring these things back into our body. So that's how we get this. In most places, it's so river salt is 78 of the 92 minerals needed. Pink salt, or pink Himalayan salt, I believe is like 80 of the minerals. I'm pretty sure it's 80. And then Celtic salt has 82. So none of them have all 92 that our body requires. But a lot of us can find these other minerals in things like root vegetables and even other sea vegetation. So anyway, there's a lot about that going on right now. Sleep is all kinds of disrupted, where people are, oh, hey, I see a comment right here. I'm going to grab you, even though you weren't the first comment that I can see, where you're the bloating. A lot of people have been talking about this Buddha belly. It's been a big conversation point lately, and I can say that one of the most useful things that you can do regarding this has actually to do with salt water. And I know I laugh at myself because there's so many things that are solved right now. So many of the things that I'm finding needing a solution for, that the solution happens to be the salt. So I feel kind of like that guy from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the dad, just spray Windex on it, but it's even like some of the stuff to do with like acid reflux or noticing like heartburn kind of stuff. Often we think that's because we have too much acid, stomach acid, but that's a sign that we don't have enough. That's our body saying, hey, our store's on low, can refill, please. And we find the most quick way to do this is to have salt. It produces the acid our stomach requires. That does help a lot of this bloating stuff, but that doesn't make it go all the way away. Remember that the water will flow where light must glow. The light and water together assist and create healing. That's why our body will swell. I know I've said this over and over again, but that was one of the most profound messages Spirit showed me. Like, I hadn't even thought about that. Oh yeah, like our body swells, and then what do? We place our hand there. Why do we place our hand there? Well, because we're amplifying the flow of light in order to heal it. We're all healers. We naturally do it. So, but yeah, a lot of people are reporting this. The other part of it, I was going to say aspect. The other part of it is that a lot of us will notice that as density leaves an area, then it will swell, it will bloat, it will expand. You'll see this a lot in like I spent quite a bit of time around the rooms of people in 12-step programs because I was dating some, or one of them. And anyway, is that you'll find that this bloating will happen after addiction is left, and anyway, I asked about it, and Spirit explained to me that density takes up smaller amount of space. So then when the density leaves, then that area will expand. And so there's a lot of different reasons for the same symptom. And often all of those reasons are happening at the same time. I call those double dippers, even if there's more than two parts of it. So yeah, there are a lot of people who are having all of those things happen. Our root, sacral, and solar plexus chakra has recently changed or developed, become something else, than it was before. It's good. It's like it's accomplished some kind of evolution. And so we are noticing more activity in these areas of our body. So the solar plexus is like 2 finger widths above your navel or your belly button. And then just below your belly button, in the same measurement of 2 fingers, you're going to find your sacral chakra. And below that, you'll find your root chakra. And these 3 chakras are the area around it. Like, think about all the guts and stuff that are happening, are kind of picking up and doing stuff right now in the solar plexus and the sacral specifically, So there's a lot there. Remembering that we're releasing what blocks these chakras right now. So that's a part of why we're having so much of this life review stuff and this stuff coming up in the dark night of the soul regarding the purging and the shedding of those around us that no longer serve us and that we don't serve them. This is all happening all at the same time of the evolution of this. So just keep that in mind. This is something that we're all doing. And so the root chakra is the fear. That's what blocks the root chakra. So there's a lot of these old fears coming up. Have you guys been noticing that? I've really been noticing it. It's been like a kind of like these really old fears, like things that it makes no sense to be concerned about. I think it's funny. I'm wearing a green shirt. I didn't think it would blend in this particular format, but yeah, I'm disappearing. because my background's green. Anyway, so then also, uh, then you go to the sacral chakra, and the sacral chakra, what blocks that? That is guilt, right? So guilt. I always mix those two up. I feel like a shame. So sacral and root, and sacral and solar plexus, one's shame and one's guilt, but I'm pretty sure that the sacral is actually shame. Now that I think about it, I'll put it in the comments after I rediscover it. I have it written down, but anyway, um, these areas. So you're going to notice the fear coming up. You're going to notice the guilt coming up, the shame, those moments of in your life where those experiences were really profound and probably still tinkering around in the back of your mind, and so this is for it to be released, and so there's a lot going on in this area of body. I talked for a long time. There's a lot. Hello, Carolina. Hello, welcome. Vicky says hello, Mila and all. Ralph is here from Scotland. Hi, Mila. Hi, all. Love from Scotland. Good to see you. Hello, Lyra. I'm happy to see you here. Hello, beautiful Mila and all. Wendy, thank you for coming. It's good to see you. Oh, excuse me. I'm letting you guys talk to each other. Tanis says hello. Hey, Tanis. How are you? I haven't seen you for a while. Oh, excuse me. We're getting you guys are talking to each other. I'll try to look before. Okay. I have been feeling amazing, good feeling codes flowing into and through me during the night when I can't sleep. Yeah, the lack of sleep isn't always unpleasant. I agree with you so much, Lyra. I love your name, by the way. Lyra is just so full of code. That's and then the fact that you got the palindrome next to it. But yeah, having to do with a lot of like incoming communication and like exactly 5 hours ago, or excuse me, exactly 12 hours ago, I was saying 5 because it was 5 a.m. There was a really big energetic push planetarily. Like we all felt it. And that one, as an example, like what you're talking about. So if anyone wants to kind of like have something to measure it with, there was also one around 10 o'clock last night. So 5 hours from now for your time would have been the 24-hour period after it. Anyway, these fluxes of energy, when we allow the release that's meant to occur, like it's like we kind of relax into it and release and stop like fighting what's coming in, it can actually be quite useful, quite beneficial and awesome as the energy comes in. It can be really enjoyable and helpful. So I'm noticing it too. I'm in this place, right, where I do talk to people who are struggling, and there's this part of me that's like, should I tuck in my bliss? You know what I mean? You kind of feel like you're eating a burrito in front of someone starving when you're saying, hey, I'm having such a good time, but at the same time, there's this importance to show, what bliss is like and that it can be had. I'm in this position where, I talk to all of you and as many of you know, and this isn't to this, we all have our trauma and our experience, though I'm just going to really reiterate it just briefly. I from the ages of 4 to 14, I was a sex slave, I had, I was beat up and deprived of natural needs, basic needs, food and clean water and all kinds of stuff. A lot of my family were. And, I'm saying this because I was a mess. I spent a good few decades deeply suicidal, all kinds of crazy stuff. And there was a lot of trauma that came from that life. And I'm showing you that because I want you to see that any measurement of trauma can be healed. And then there's not only possibility, but great likelihood to find the bliss on the other side, like I've been able to do and like many have done. I find that the most beautiful, clear energy people that I've met have come from quite a lot of trauma, and you can do it. It's just addressing each bit, one bit at a time. Sometimes you feel like you're trying to cut a golf course of grass with a single pair of scissors, but it's one thing at a time, and you just don't give up. It's not, sometimes you take breaks. That's not giving up. A break is a good idea, you know, giving yourself indulgences as you go along the different moments of healing, and so I tell you that to show you that bliss is available and possible for all of you. And this bliss, this euphoria, this absolute joy in living is so beautiful. And what a prize. I've been told over and over by spirit that trauma is actually translated in our Bible, and it's the purification by fire is what they're talking about is trauma. It's not a punishment, though it may feel like it when we're doing it. It ends up being the wrapping paper that once you break through it is you finding yourself, the true gift, the bliss on the other side. So I'm sorry I just went on so long, but I just feel like that was needed to be said. That bliss is beautiful. We can all have it. We can. Feeling like I am being turned inside out, says Karen. Sensitive and turning inwards more and more. Calm and still though. Yeah, it's weird. Like I'm having some of these really profound physical things going on too. Like enough that like slow in my life right now in a physical way. Like I feel like I am going to notice myself more in the next little while, and I'm going to wonder where all my muscle mass went because there's so little activity I'm noticing, or slow and gradual. Like I'm not going to fall over kind of old, like feeling like I'm frail, but this is something I'm going through, too. At the same time, we're being met with euphoria and constant downloads, man. The kind of downloads that we're getting right now. Man, I had this whole download about this lunar eclipse that's happening on the 7th of September. September is the 7th month. If you look at it, sept means 7, so it's on the 7/7 portal. I look at both calendars. I think that they both have important use in portal code, but interesting, right? There's a whole bunch of download about it. 7 billion people will be able to see it, and some recount counts of it, and 88% of the population. But then other accounts say that where I wrote it down in here because I was like, what? It's 77% of the population. And like 6 point something. I can't see where I wrote it, but a billion people will be seeing it. And if you are, in Western Australia, and Asia, you're going to see it the best. But like, there's going to be a lot of people who can see it. Not in North America. We won't see it here. But there's a lot of code about that day and what's happening. So I'm just telling you, if something is, you're planning on doing something, that's a good day to kind of like focused your energy on. We're coming into this new moon energy, so all of us are feeling that we're needing to be in a place of manifestation. So you're noticing your creation chakra. I experience it as literally the belly button, literally my navel. That's the creation chakra. Like I know that some will say it's the solar plexus, and some will say it's the sacral, or some will say it's someplace in the middle. And so we're having a lot of physical sensation here too, reminding us of this time as we're opening a new access to this chakra, and in this time right now of this planting of the seeds that you will harvest on the full moon that's coming up. And that full moon will be this that full moon will be that lunar eclipse, the blood moon. It's really a fascinating thing. That makes sense, Mila. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Vicky. Good to see you. Good. Excuse me. You're talking to each other again. I love that you guys talk to each other. I'm upper back stiff and sore. Yeah, me too. Yeah, Deborah. And sore, and boy, loud ear ringing. Yeah. Okay. So you're having the same kind of experience as I am. I'm noticing that I'm like leaning forward a lot more, and I'm noticing, I don't know. At first I thought it's because I'm on the computer so much and my camera is low enough that I always want to slouch to kind of fit into the camera, but, to have more of a direct eye line. However, I've taken a couple of days off for my daughter's birthday, which is why we're not meeting I'm not doing my show on Sunday. This is a replacement of that. because she's having her 11th birthday. So it's kind of like a awesome moment to just kind of have, it's her birthday. However, I haven't been doing this for a couple of days as much, and I'm still having this stuff. So it's fascinating that you bring it up. I also note that there's some energy motion that's going through the higher heart, and even solar plexus that's kind of like pushing through out the back like wings. The energetic wings are kind of wanting to stretch, and they cycle. Like the center of your back between your shoulder blades would be like the meeting point, the cross section of a infinity. The continual, and these wings grow, expand at least twice the height of you. Like each wing. So your wingspan would be 4 times your height. So, and if you consider how far out these wings are, this shows you also how large your energetic field is. And I find that it actually ebbs and flows based on security and desire to connect out. Sometimes we pull our energy back in. Large, over loud public areas, sometimes a lot of people who are like me are more introverted will kind of pull your energy back a little bit. Or a lot of times I'll actually push my energy out to kind of like transmute that funky that everybody's kind of like blending in the world around us. And so, but yeah, so now you can have an idea of a measurement of how far your energetic span is too. But I find that if we allow the guidance, visualize it to cycle like that, the light, in making the cycle of the wings, it helps to kind of bring it a little bit more alignment. Barbara says appetite is all out of whack. Yep. Joint pain in fingers, and staying up till 2 a.m. and not being tired even then. Yeah. So 2 a.m. is probably late for you. I've gotten so in the habit this summer with like, we're staying up till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. We've been staying up that late, and it's kind of breaking out of it. But we're back. I'm noticing I'm back to having like sleep sessions. Like I'll go to sleep like what you would consider relatively early, I guess, for me, and then I'm back up at like midnight and up for several hours, and then go back to sleep again. Like that's becoming kind of a little bit more of a thing that we're doing. So it's really interesting. Hello, good to see you, Lavender Sky Panther. Hi, happy Friday plus Saturday. Happy celebration weekend for higher and junior vibrations. Thank you. Oh man, 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. Eastern time. Could not sleep, did not want to be awake. No man's land energy. Yeah, it's interesting that we're all talking about this. A lot of us are feeling this. It's so Tuesday. I'm trying to remember what date. Today's Friday. You said it in there, but like what was actually happening on Tuesday? I actually didn't sleep much at all on that day. That actually was the celestial gathering. The Venus, Jupiter, Pollux, and Castor with the crescent moon danced together. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on. So that actually makes sense that was because when it was at its height was pre-sunrise. So you're actually, on the money for the time that would have been too. So I find that to be super fascinating. Thank you for your comment. Oh, Metaphysical Mike, thank you very much for that. It's super chat, 10 USD. All these different coping mechanisms of what I did in other lifetimes because I didn't want to do other emotions, right? Yep. We're coming up. And I literally couldn't stop coughing. Is this normal? Yeah, actually, I've been like really a purge of this mucus as well. It's actually pretty, it's amazing how much mucus we can produce. It's just, and at the same time, we're getting this weird, like acne kind of stuff going on our body. It's all coming out. It's all pushing out. And yeah, all these different coping mechanisms of what I did in other lifetimes. Yeah, exactly. And that's what's coming up. And so now we're undoing those things. And then the emotion that was not felt is being presented. So a lot of us won't even, because I think that most of us try to figure out why we're feeling away. I don't know. We've been taught to do that. And by doing that, we own it and then kind of keep it in place. Archangel Michael says that in order to stop the motion of something is to judge it. And if by judging something is to decide something about a thing. If it's green or if it's red, if it's soft, or like there's different um, measurements of what it is that we use to just kind of understand something is also considered what we call judgment. It's not only saying that it's good or bad. And so deciding about it and trying to like analyze it and figure out where it fits will keep it there rather than just, it sounds really bizarre. It's not what we've been taught to do, but it's amazing how it works. Is all we do is just experience it, lean into it, like all the way. Like you start to feel mournful or sad or happy or whatever it is, just lean into it as if like you dumped your whole head into it, like it's surprising because you'll feel it strong, I find, but then it's fleeting. It's so bizarre. I had this one example of a sensation of mourning that came through me. And I still have, I haven't spent time to consider it. However, I don't really feel the need to. Where it came from was that it just was. It came in and I felt it and I was like, wow, what's this? Okay, let's. And I first, like we all do, will hesitate. And then I leaned into it. It was big, profound, immediate, deep belly, that really deep, deep cry. And then it was gone, like within a few seconds. This all happened, and I don't know why it came up, but I know that it needed to be observed. And then all of a sudden, I finally dumped out my cup. It's like trying to know what tea tastes like when you haven't dumped out your coffee. Children are really good at this. I don't know when we learn not to do this, but just stop doing it. But they'll feel something with their whole heart, or the whole neighborhood knows that kid fell, but then they're done with it. Then they move on, and so it's just about feeling it. Exactly. Allowing them to come up, allowing them to be observed and felt so they can go, so thank you for that. Hello, Jess. Good to see you. Cosmic Detective. Hi, everyone. Relate to a lot shared, navigating it by being present and witnessing. Yeah. That's exactly right. Just witness it. Allow yourself to be in it and know that it is. Can you do anything to change it? No. Did it happen? Yeah. Also sometimes we'll have these things come up that we know what it is, and what's being guided for that is to realize that there's no more balancing of the scales. It just is. Like a lot of people are taught to like expect that the person, the perpetrator or something is going to get theirs, right? And it prolongs or delays their healing, and expecting some type of penance or justice will delay that person's healing and growth. And so it's just observing it, knowing it happened. You can't change it. There's no balancing of the scales, and just let it be felt so it can go. Say goodbye to it. Sometimes it's like as if it didn't happen. Not to say that you're excusing a person or even putting yourself in unsafe position. It's just that it is no more. Omega says, hi, Mila. Wow, are the energies off the chain? Oh, dude. OMG. It's crazy right now. Good to see you, Star Child. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Hello, Helen. Good to see you. Welcome. Started EFT exercises and body talking, really helping calm the nerves. Awesome. These fire and air energies are kicking my root. Yeah, they really are. Anyone who missed it, by the way, the EFT, the tapping of the meridian, of the body meridian, we had a really cool show on Wednesday. And Kaz Kelly, she came on and showed us. She did a demonstration. That was really weird. I disappeared. My computer, I think I had too many tabs open, and it also, I don't let my computer update, and it had like a bunch of updates that it wanted to do. So, I'm that person. I'm the equivalent of the 80s or 90s, the grandma that always had the VCR flashing at midnight. That's the equivalent of me. I don't. And so anyway, but she was amazing. So about halfway through is when we did the demonstration, I believe. Really great conversation. If you get a chance, check it out. Yeah, I actually am really digging the fire and air energies together. I'm finding it to be really, but you're right. The root chakra is really being, a lot is being released there, which again, that's why so many of what blocks it is coming up. The fear is coming up. Many are translating it as a dark night of the soul in mass. Not everyone's feeling it, or experiencing it, but we're all feeling it on some level, like as if you're feeling your neighbor. You know what I mean? Like energetically, empathically. I mean, feeling good is a choice. That is probably the most important thing I've learned, says Barbara. I feel great most of the time and just say that symptoms are temporary. I choose to feel blessed. Thank you all. That's a beautiful statement. Thank you, Barbara. That is exactly, you get to decide. You get to decide everything. When thoughts come in our minds, those are invitations. Those are ads that you can either click or swipe. For the first, 8 to 14 seconds or so. I know that there's been, some people say the first 3 to 18 seconds. Some people say the first 8 to 14. So I don't know. Somewhere in that first little bit, you get to decide if you're going to click it or grab it and own that, and I find that something that's really changed my world is that when I wake up, I set the stage for waking up to be a pleasant experience. Most of us aren't taught to do that. Most of us are taught to have an alarm go off, and that alarm is going to be super loud and angry, and you're going to jump out of bed, and then you're late. You got to run, and because you wanted to get as much sleep as you could, you snoozed it a bunch of times. All those different things. And by the time that you always feel rushed all day long. By the time you get to lunchtime, you're feeling like you're just waking up, And so I actually have my rule for me is I need to be awake 2 hours before my thing. If I'm going to go live or have a session or going to have to be somewhere, then I need to be awake at least 2 hours before that moment. And so I plan accordingly. And by doing that, like having 2 hours, I also get to have a later day, but I worked graveyards for a while to make that more possible. And I learned how to do it on a day schedule too. My point here is you can be the writer of your script in other ways, more than manifestation. You can choose to create the environment that is balanced and a harmonious energy. I'm really noticing that my vocabulary or my ability to articulate clearly has been affected all day today so far. I mean, it's been weird. Anyway, so just keep that in mind. You get to choose, like what Barbara here says, So, and just make the choice accordingly. You're amazing, Mila. You shine so bright. Oh, thank you, Ralph. Thank you. And you do too. All of you. It's amazing. I love these things. When I get to go live and watch and have you all gather when we do Zoom meetings and all the things. I really, really love all of you. It's such a beautiful gathering of souls. Like I'm beside myself with being so appreciative and grateful that you all are part of this community. Thank you. Mila, I wish I could have another event. I would love to meet you and talk about our journeys. I do plan on doing an event. It's just everything's, I need to make sure everything lines up. I was really kind of hoping to do something this fall, but it's just not working out exactly as I would like it to. So it's not supposed to happen yet. But I agree I agree. We are going to do one. I know we are. It'll be a lot of fun when we do. There's a lot of amazing places that I kind of want to bring people to. Yeah. And so we will. Thank you for bringing that up. I should consider that more. Thank you for sharing your story, Mila. And butterfly, love, butterfly, hug. Thank you. Thank you. Nat said blurry vision during sensation in the eyes, burning sensation in the eyes. Yeah. I've been actually having a lot of this eye stuff too. Many people have reported. In fact, just as like I don't know, let's see kind of thing. I even went and tried on a bunch of different the reading glasses. Even the smallest amount it made my vision more blurry. I don't use any kind of corrective lenses, but I was just like I wonder what this would be like, just kind of store or whatever. But a lot of people are reporting this along with me. Also, people are saying there's like gunk. Their eyes are seeping something. Um, I'm noticing that I'm wanting to like rinse my eyes, clean my eyes more, than usual as well. Um, I can say that we're starting to have more and more things come into our perception, able to see, to perceive more than we were able to before. And so we are seeing a physical response to that as well. You know, I can tell you this is that when I first had this happen, this has happened now a couple of times. It was really pronounced in I don't know, maybe about 4 years ago. Pardon me. And then I going to the doctor, the eye doctor, and your eye vision's better than it was before. They always said that, and it always drove me crazy because they looked at me like I was there to manipulate, or I don't know, like a drug seeker or something. I don't know. But then what I discovered was some of the things that were coming in and out of focus, others couldn't see at all. And that was where we started to understand that when we vibrate at this frequency and something's vibrating up here, we're not going to be able to see it. But if we raise our frequency up to where it's at, we can see it. The difference, though, is we don't ascend like this. We ascend more like this. So we're going in and out of the range as we raise our frequency, as we raise our energy. And as we raise our frequency up to that frequency, so we can then begin to perceive it, some of it becomes more blurry when it's actually not blurry at all. This isn't always the case, but this is the experience that I've had. It's very fascinating. So, oh, thank you, Vicky. You are too. All of you for coming on here. I remember the effort it took to comment in a live like this. Like, it was like, oh, that's actually why I picked the name Higher Vibrations at all. So I could be anonymous enough and not end up in some loony bin somewhere. You know what I mean? Again, because I had been, when I was 13, I was committed for 12, 13. I don't know. Anyway, I was an age. Because I was seeing the Pleiadians, like there was this whole thing, and they taught me quantum healing. These beings that came in, I probably could have called them angels instead, but I used the word that they called themselves. And so, anyway, but yeah, a lot of us will find that it's difficult to share. It's also difficult to come on and be in a place, but the amount of healing and amazing stuff that comes in when you do it, that's actually why I have a show at all, to give you all a platform, a place to share your story, to show these different examples of awakening, and that you can help others to know that they're not alone. So if any of you are interested in coming on the show, please send me an email or a message on Telegram. If you've already sent me a message and I've not responded, it's not because I'm ignoring you. Please send another one. I mean it. I'm sorry. I get so many messages that things get lost, and so please, if you do want to come on, let me know. We have a show on Friday. Typically right now is when I have guests come on, and then also on Wednesdays at a little bit earlier time. So Cosmic Detective says there are 2 Virgo moons this month, 0 and 29 degrees. The last time was in May 2023. Cool. Plus eclipse season, very interesting times. Yeah, back into the eclipse season. And the other one, I think the solar eclipse is like the 21st of September, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to find the right book. I have way too many books. I have this one book that's supposed to have like all the important dates, and I started using it for sessions, and then completely lost track of everything. Oh, here it is. Good. Yeah, it's 21st is the solar eclipse in North Node of Virgo. And this is also the fall equinox. And so that one's going to be really interesting when that happens. So yeah, here we come. Thank you for your sharing there, Cosmic Detective. Light Worker, by feeling nonstop vibrations down the spine all the way up past my crown. Wow, cool. A lot of this has been reported about like the incoming of this. It looks like to me, I see energy. I see it weird too, like different than other people probably, but I see it like a rainbow moving fluidity. Like it could be like compared to that movie, The Abyss, where the water kind of took on like almost a serpentine movement in the air, but it's not a snake. This is going in through our sacrum and spiraling as well as going through each of our chakras, cycling up over through the there's a massive diamond. I see this in everybody. There's a massive diamond above our head. It's like a different chakra, and as the light moves through this diamond, it changes things for you and prisms and helps with your toroidal field. It does a lot of different things, but as it gets up to this diamond, it loops back down and comes back through you and goes down through Earth, creating the Ankh. So a lot of that is what you're talking about. If you allow yourself to visualize it and do it on purpose with intention, in a mild meditative state, you don't have to be deep meditation for it to be effective. It will really help, but it's really it's kind of fun, but at the same time it's not very fun when you're trying to sleep. I don't like my body vibrating when I'm trying to sleep. It feels like a subtle earthquake all night long because your bed's kind of shut. It feels, you know what I mean? There's a lot of that happening. So like, hey, thank you so much for your comment. I feel like a lot of people are having these experiences. TGIF, yay, Friday. Yeah. Hello, good to see you, Gia. Omega says, hey, Mila, have you seen the new color? Oh, dude, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I started seeing more colors since probably 2022, 21, somewhere in there. You'll actually see also, you'll notice that those who are defiantly asleep, I think is how I'm going to call them. And it's not that they're bad or good. It's just they're choosing the way of the muggle at this time. They tend to have a little bit more dulled color to them too. It's not even meant as a divisive thing. It's just interesting. It's that those who are in the awakening journey have more color. Like I'm noticing it. That's just how I see that. And like even the pigmentation of their skin, their hair, it's very fascinating. So yeah, thank you for mentioning. It's really pretty. Some of this stuff, the skies are changing in ways that I don't even know how to fully like describe it. But there are almost like a kaleidoscope of colors going on out there at night that people aren't seeing. Like I'm seeing a lot of like these deep maroon and violets and indigo colors. Like it looks like nebulas up there, and no one else seems to be seeing it. But Comet Detective says Kaz was awesome. Yeah, dude, she was awesome. And also, she does a lot of she has like a couple of like 3 different YouTube channels, and one of them she just doesn't have access to. I don't know if I put both of her YouTube videos up, but she's got some awesome content if you get a chance. EFT is very successful with PTSD, and the military knows. A woman I know has taught it for decades, and she gave them the paperwork. They recognized it and tossed it. Oh, that's frustrating. Well, now we have, access to it. It's something I did notice an immediate change in my energy. Like I just felt so relaxed after doing it that right after I taught my daughter, like I couldn't. There were steps that I didn't know or I'd forgotten. So go check it out if you get a chance. It's gonna blow my nose. Lots of mucus, and it's not an allergy kind of mucus. I know that. I'm just gonna say it. Like something's going on. But Junior is cute. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, she's funny. She named herself Junior Vibrations. She said it. She used that name when she went. It was during the totality of the eclipse. We just took a video and ended up posting it up on YouTube. And Hey, Junior Vibrations here. She's so cute. Yeah, Junior Vibrations is turning 11. What a magical year. Aziza D. Hi, Mila. I am Aziza from London. I hope that Aziza. I hope I don't know if I'm saying your name right. From London, Ascension Symptoms have been intense this week. Yes, they have. Listening to you has been so helpful. Thank you for doing such a great job. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that so much. That, and that's the only reason why I would do it. Thank you. Thank you. You just made my week. Lyra, I need 3 hours to leave the house for work. There you go. It's a really good idea. Yeah. And Jess says the same thing. It's most of the time I'm not getting ready in the fashion of like I'm getting my clothes on, I'm taking a shower. Like that's usually done in like a 30 minute window, like somewhere in the middle. And sometimes usually I'll like space it out. Like, okay, I showered. Now it's time for a break. Let's go have some tea or coffee or whatever it is I'm drinking right then, and then next step. And there's this thing. There's some people who just want to start chatting with you when you first wake up. And I don't understand that. I have 45 minutes at least where I'm not very good response for much of any conversation. I'm still integrating my nighttime experience. We get a lot coming in through high school. I was reading somebody else comment through the night. And there's a lot of time spent, and kind of like evaluating or just kind of acts to remember some of the things that happened, and so on. But yeah, and uh, Aziza that had mentioned earlier, there is a lot more ascension symptoms right now these past 2 weeks than there has been in like intensity and quantity both. Than there has been for some time. We just had another really big earthquake right after that far limb of the sun came into view and brought out a big solar flare, and so and the closer that this comet gets to the sun, the more activity we're expecting, so I'll go into that a little bit first before I'm gonna just come back to you in a second. Is that we this comet, you can look it up. It's the comet's name is 3I /Atlas or C /2025. This not a comet. This is from exospace. There's a whole thing. Everybody's talking about it, but it falls into the same behavior pattern as Oumuamua from 2017. Believe that was on September 11th too. I remember realizing that it was a really lined up date. It was the 7 of 7 portal, I believe. Anyway, is that as it's the closer it got to the sun, the more that, even though our sun was at solar minimum at that time back in 2017, the closer it got to the sun, the more that the sun woke up and all kinds of crazy solar activity was going on. Now we're actually at solar maximum now, even though the activity on the sun is kind of slowing down from what it was, a couple of months ago. It's still pretty active and considered solar maximum. So as this comet gets closer and closer to the sun, it's expected to really put off a show for us. Also, it's expected to Kazemi. This comet's going to Kazemi the sun, a conjunction of the sun, on October 22nd. Because I think this is super amazing, because I've been told so many times by Spirit that this year about, and through the years before, about October 22nd, but starting around January or February, I began to realize or be told that it was this October 22nd. And so it lines up with that. So something cool is going to be going on for that window of time. My high school friend is an EFT practitioner. She actually cured herself after major trauma 20 years ago. They just want to pill us up. Yeah. There's so many simple healing techniques. Like this is just tapping. You're just these 3 fingers, you're just tapping different areas. You start, first you want to start here, and then you go here, and like follow what, the video shows. I won't tell you everything exactly right. And it's here, then it's here, then it's like underneath your bra line. Remember the steps, and remember each part of it as you do it, and remember to be in a place of love. As really, um, it's amazing. It's amazing. Then all of a sudden you're good. If you're having anxiety, you're releasing the anxiety. In fact, I specifically said to heal anxiety when we were doing this example, but you can say whatever it is that fits what's going on for you. I said anxiety because so many people are reporting anxiety or increased anxiety activity right now. They're sensing it more. I want a gathering too. I registered and was so excited for you last one and had to cancel. Oh yeah, I actually remember that. I am looking forward to doing something. We're next to something that's really amazing. It's a place called the Spiral Mounds, and we're close enough to this area. I was really thinking about doing something because the Spiral Mounds was a gathering place for, I believe, summer solstice, um, to the ancient people for a long time, and it would it would be a real fun kind of thing to do, but it has to line up, and I'm finding myself having a less reliable vehicle at this time, so it's just you know having to do with that. But we are going to do some things. I know we will. Fractals of God. I like your name. Yes, even my animals have eye gunk. I'm glad that you mentioned our fur babies, because there are so many people talking about their fur babies having ascension symptoms now, like wanting to know what to do for them. And the solution for them is very similar to the solution for us. One of the things I find to be really useful is to take a crystal of some type with some kind of point, and then to trace from like the top of their head, the best that they'll let you, through their whole spine, and then through to the tip of their tail, just kind of like you're petting them with the crystal. It's kind of interesting to see the immediate calming that happens for it, but also this eye stuff. Remember, sometimes the eye stuff also the gunk of the eyes also has to do with some purging, to do with the parasites that we're releasing. Maybe there's a need for you to consider doing some kind of parasite cleanse. There's wormwood, black walnut, whole clove. This trio is super common, as a natural healing way for it. Yolanda Marie with the eyes as well. Yeah, dude. Yeah, there's something going on for that. And then remember some kind of binder, which is like the binder is like a sponge that absorbs all the stuff that gets left behind when you kind of get rid of the parasites. They kind of begin to dissolve, and so their waste, and sometimes even what could later grow into a mature parasite, is then needing to be collected. And so oregano, parsley, small amounts. You don't need that much. You can eat quite a lot of it, and it won't hurt you. But there's a lot of different natural ones. Those are the ones I use most often. People talk about also using like Epsom salt, ingesting Epsom salt. I've never ingested it, but a lot of people do. Also, diatomaceous earth, activated charcoal. There's a lot of different things. I'll just toss a bunch of oregano in with my eggs or something like that, So, OMG, yes, my cat. I've been cleaning her eyes a lot, says Amy. Yeah, it's amazing how many people have been reporting their fur babies lately, really. Yes, I'm trying to remember words and phrases. Isn't that weird? Yeah, dude, it's so funny. And it seems to be simple words to me. Like, I feel like I'm trying to remember spoon, you know, something that's, an ordinary, used frequently. Hello. Hi, Mila. I had a couple of episodes of heavy pressure and high heart and throat. Scary if you're not aware of ascension symptoms. That's right, Imonte. I agree with you. When you start to notice the stuff going on in this area, and it feels, you start to notice more than one heartbeat. I noticed it. Spirit actually suggested I put my fingers on either side, and just kind of like observe my pulse, and you'll actually see that there's a couple of pulses. There's more than, if you're at some points you can detect another pulse. and we're feeling a higher heart. But yeah, it can feel scary if you don't know what's going on. I agree with you. Even if you do know what's going on, I find that unless, after the first few seconds, a lot of times I can remember, okay, and then reassure yourself, okay, I'm fine. I know I am. This is an ascension symptom. But at first, it's like immediately going to that like alarm. It's like, this is how I go, you know? Fractals of God. Third eye has been having activations as well as crown. Yep. Been feeling that staticky feeling. Like when you hold your hand in front of an old CTR monitor. About the only way I can describe it. CRT. I said CTR because that's a Mormon thing. I was raised LDS. I don't know what a CRT monitor is. However, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That, in fact, we've been commenting here and we've been shocking each other, and that we've been noticing more static electricity than is really typical for us. It's kind of become a little family joke. As well as exactly what you said, the third eye, I've been noticing the headache here, been having a lot of real pressure there, just dull but persistent, as well as for me, I'm noticing more on the right side of the head. Some people are reporting left side of the head. I'm mirrored in this image. That's why I'm pointing at the wrong direction. It's not a blonde thing, but yeah, and feeling it very much. And then your follow up is, yes, I agree with this too. Wild, vivid dreams. Yeah, dude, all kinds of crazy stuff coming in. It feels really awesome, but bizarre. And like, you kind of feel like when you wake up, you need to take a nap from sleeping, but then your body is just too energized to sleep any further, even though you're tired and you could sleep and be happy if you were like anything that you used to think was normal for you, you know. Joshua says, I am the same way, Mila. When I get up, I am not panic or particularly talkative. I need to get up and move around, preferably go outside and process excess energies before I want to talk about anything at all. Yeah. And, since I have been somebody who has typically, I'm not that 5:30, let's get up and start the day person. I've never been, and so when I'm around people who are morning people, they're all like, early bird gets the worm. They forget the midnight worm that got it first. Just saying. Fractals of God says, I'm the same way with waking up in the morning. Some want to chat my ear off. I'm not trying to be crabby. I'm just coming back to earth, man. Give me an hour. Yeah, dude. Same. And people will take offense. I'll be looking at the person, and the whole time I'm thinking, they need to stop talking. I'm trying to focus and trying to listen, but at the same time, I'm not. And I'm sure my face looks like a glare. That's not what I'm thinking, but I'm just like, do you know I'm not going to remember any of this? Like I told you this yesterday. Why are you still talking? Why are you doing this again? Yeah, you had 18 cups of coffee and, been to town and back. But, I'm waking up. Donna says, my left eye is seeing things around the edges. Okay, yep. They are white or light orb looking things with colors. Very hard to describe. I know exactly what you're talking about, Donna. These orbs are really, really common. Light orbs. It's one of the most common reported first sights. Often you'll see it in the left side too. I find this really interesting. I don't know why that is, but most people, if it's the right side for you, it's not wrong. But most of us will first see from the left. You'll also notice your left ring finger is your most high frequency finger of all. Like the left hand is, but the left in a ring finger, there's a reason you put a precious stone and with precious metal around that finger. There's to amplify that. However, this is usually like you'll also see like what looks like shadows sometimes too, and people will often misinterpret this as something that's low frequency or not, or I always mix up benevolent and whatever. It's that movie Maleficent screwed everything up for me. Now it's, I don't even, whatever. So anyway, that um however, if you do want to know who and what their purpose, or is, and why they're there and stuff, just send love to them. You just send love. If they are of love, they'll send back love in a quantity more than what you've sent. If they are not of love, then they will flee, for they cannot stand before the light. The shadow nature is, it creates, love ends up being like a repellent, so it really does help. Just so anybody, in case anyone's wondering, often we'll also see, these orbs will eventually shift and look like a silhouette. For a moment, you'll see part of something. And I know this sounds really weird, but like one of my most profound experiences earlier on, was glowing, light-filled, disembodied arms. The hands, palms were facing down. I was on a bean bag, and I was having some real serious energy stuff. Density, man, something hit me. And these healing hands came. I just saw them above me, and they could feel them, feel the someone behind them. But, if if you added horror movie music to that, that could have been really scary, but when it happened, I noticed the arms after I felt what was happening. The individuals, if you require assistance, individuals will come once consent is given. And I remember very clearly that only moments before that, I was asking for help, and help came. We see all kinds of stuff. Sometimes it's a silhouette, like a little bit of light around what looks like a shadow. It's like a matte finish of darkness, almost like inside. That's not someone who's low frequency. Usually you're seeing their aura, and it's glowing brightest, and you can see there's someone inside. You can't really see them all the way. Again, just using that technique to discover what they are and what they're coming for. Excuse me. Often will help. So that's really cool. You're starting to get that, Donna. Not sure if you've talked about that this recently. Haven't caught a stream in for a while, but did you hear the Comet 3I Atlas that is heading toward us has detected artificial light being projected? Cool. Yeah, I actually did hear about this. I didn't do any research to follow up just yet about it, but it's been so much fun to hear all these different updates. Thank you for sharing that, Practice of God. Yeah, it's actually really fun, because it's changed its trajectory. If it were a comet, it wouldn't be able to like steer, like redirect its motion forward. Its previous trajectory would have had it like crashing into part of Saturn's rings, and then it steered. Then it moved out. There's a whole bunch of this. You're looking at, all I'm saying is most people are talking about whether or not it's spacecraft. There's so much peculiarity about its behavior. And my experience is that it's been, it started to come in as an Arcturian vessel for me before anyone else even told me about it. They had spotted it a day or two before I was getting this communication, but they didn't tell us about it till the 3rd or the 4th of July, when they first saw it on the 1st of July. So it's really fascinating. Thank you for your comment. My cat has a funky left eye for the longest time. I had considered getting colloidal silver once I learned about it, but suddenly, without my intervention, his eye cleared up and hasn't bothered him. That's awesome. Definitely will. It makes sense too, that because a lot of us will regularly deworm, different kind of parasite cleanse stuff for our fur babies. And, so we'll also notice that along with that timing, that they'll start to have these type of different conjunctivitis related seeming things kind of clear up, and so just, it's a very interesting contrast. Most places in the world, they'll actually do regular deworming of their children. And it's only in the States that it's, when you say that to somebody, they just look at you like, what's wrong with you? And they'll say, what do you think, they're a dog? And they're an important being on this toil, and we like for them to, be healthy. That's why. So, I mean, do your own research and make sure that you're doing it in a balanced way. Thank you for sharing, everyone. My brain has been turned off. I just wandered around my house and yard aimlessly. It's so weird. Beach weave. Yeah, dude. It's weird. We got all kinds of stuff going on. Yeah, thank you, everybody. This has been a really awesome conversation. I will have to wrap this up in a moment. I'm gonna grab on to a couple of October 22nd, Lord of the Ring. In Lord of the Rings, says Lavender Sky Panther. Bilbo Baggins steals a cup. On October 22nd, 2941, on the third age, Bilbo Baggins stole a cup from the dragon Smaug's lair in the Lonely Mountain. Interesting. And then, also with October 22nd, plus Lord of the Rings, Frodo's recovery. By October 22nd, 3018, Frodo Baggins was recuperating in Rivendell from the Morgul blade wound he received on Weathertop. And that's also, so the telling of Gandalf and mentioning it's very important. Yeah, and because it made it into the film as well. It's October 22nd, if you'd like to know. There's some super big significance. And I find we all know that any art form, whether it's writing, sculpting, drawing, singing, dancing, creating space, decorating, all these different things, we're channeling. And isn't it interesting how much of importance got channeled into those books and later became movies that I'd watched over and over and over again that I can no longer watch, not because it's all of the gore. I no longer have any desire to have my emotions toyed with in that way. That's just how Hollywood is. And so what I'll do is, if I'm watching a film, I'll fast forward those parts. And, watching the extended version of Lord of the Rings in countless times. Now I'm here, and if you fast forward it, you can watch the whole series in like an hour because there's so much to fast forward. So it's just, however, I got so much code for them at an earlier time. Deborah says, Beach Weave, I do the same. Yeah. I've been feeling a heartbeat on the right side from time to time. Isn't that fascinating, Joshua? Yeah, exactly. There's 3 hearts. It's really interesting. And there's what people call the higher heart, is just because it's a triangle. You got your 1 heart, 2 heart, 3 heart, in each of the. And then if you actually look into your inside the sphere, you have 3 plates. So you have the plate on the front, the breastplate, and then the 2 plates on the back, and they're the shoulder blades. And those plates become burdened with stuff. You carry the woes of the world. You don't express yourself. You don't unburden yourself, so you keep it all piled out. It's all on your chest, like your plate's full. And so we need to remember to release those burdens, so we're not over encumbered on our 3 plates. But when they have a lot piled up on top of it, the sacred geometry, light frequency that changes shapes and for whatever is useful and needed at that time are delayed or prevented somehow. So it really helps. It's really interesting that it's the 3-3 the way that it is. So I should wrap this up and get going, but there's so much to the code of what's happening right now. Yeah, interesting. Joshua said same. Same here, Mila. I grew up with Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and loved them for many years, but it is too intense for me to watch now. I know it's kind of disappointing, but not. It's okay. We were coded from this earlier time like we were meant to, and so now it's time. But yeah, I got to get going. Thank you all so much. And remember, I'm not going live on Sunday, but this show was meant to kind of be in place of that for this particular week, though. As of next week, everything will go back to normal again. It's going to be a really great week, and I look forward to seeing all of you there. I can't remember who I have for the Wednesday show. I was going to tell you. Anyway, it's going to be amazing. I have it written down on my phone. So in my phone, I don't keep it not next to me. I don't carry it around like like I used to. But anyway, I'm sending you all so much love. Thank you all for being here. Know that you're not alone. Yeah, we got some increased energy happening right now. Yeah, the new moon is at our doorstep. So remember, this is a sacred time of choosing what you'd like to manifest for your coming um, month and year and so on, and you'll begin to reap what you've sown, beginning on the well, immediately, but on the full moon, which is in alignment with that amazing lunar eclipse that's going to happen. That, yeah, we won't be able to see it in North America, but it doesn't matter if you can see it. It's knowing and feeling it, and it'll be at its peak, or it'll be at totality at 1730 UTC time. I haven't actually translated that to local time, but if you're curious, all you have to do is type in, 1700 UTC 2, and then write TO, 2, and then write your time zone. So then I would write CST for me, and it would tell me the time that it's happening. Knowing the time that it's going on really does help. You'll feel it. You're feeling it. You're experiencing it. So fell asleep the whole live. That's all right. I'm glad that you were here. And you can go back and watch it all you want. If you're doing a repeat or a replay, sending you love to you, sweetie. I strongly encourage that you go check out our show from Wednesday. That the tapping that we were guided to do here was just so profound, and it really helped. So if you didn't get a chance, I encourage you all to go check that out, and to go to check out her YouTube channel as well. She has a lot of really awesome sharings that she creates. So thank you all so much. Sending you all so much love, and I'll see you soon. Aho blessings.